Hello and welcome to Healthier Habits. I'm Brian Bessey.
And I'm Sam Gossman.
This is the podcast where we adopt a healthier habit every week and give you all the details.
And for this week's healthier habit, Brian and I will be taking steps to avoid sickness.
But before we get into that, we must talk about last week.
On the last episode of the podcast, Brian and I adopted some tips to save money. And if you want to know how you can save hundreds of dollars a year, you can listen to that last upload on the Branding Iron website, YouTube, or SoundCloud.
Just simply go to any of those sites and search for Healthier Habits or OneTV and you'll find it. So, Sam, how did last week go for you?
Honestly, I think it went pretty well.
Good.
Compared to last week. Last week I was a little bit of a slacker, you know.
Mm-hmm. With a proper posture, right?
Yeah. It was just something that was always in the back of my mind. But,
right.
This week I think I did a little better. My main goal was to not go out to eat or get snacks from the vending machine because I feel like that's my main source of spending. So I did that successfully, surprisingly.
Good.
Today I actually did get a snack, but I felt like today was the end of the week, so, whatever.
Yep, exactly.
So yeah, I think that went really well. So the pro was I actually did it, and it was all right, and I didn't spend money on food that I didn't need.
Good.
Cons was I didn't actually, eat like that much because at my job I usually get something from the vending machine or something like that. But, and I was going to pack a lunch, but I didn't, and it was just blah. But, that just comes with practice.
Right, exactly. Like we said, you can't just jump right into these things and be an expert. So we're probably going to keep doing this as college students,
Yeah.
See if we can keep doing that. My pros for saving money is I went to the ATM, took $50 out, and it was just super easy to just keep onto that $50 because I didn't want to lose it, and it's generally a good habit. I couldn't see saving money being a bad habit usually.
Yeah.
Unless, you're avoiding spending a large amount of money because the food you're buying is cheap, thus saving you money. So I have a little thing here about my cons, and this is my third con specifically. Sometimes healthy eating and saving money do not coincide. So it might be cheap to buy worse food for yourself. So for example, this week or last week, I bought 2 frozen pizzas. I bought 2 frozen pizzas and eggs, and that was about $4.30 plus tax. It wasn't healthy, but it tasted good.
Yeah.
But when I would usually buy my usual stuff, so that might be like spinach, chicken, or whatever, and usually those foods last me a little longer, but it's about $9.94 plus tax. So right there, you see that's more than twice as much money, for food, and it's just hard when you have to dump down $10 right on the spot and do that. But yeah, I just wanted to clarify. I did not buy the pizzas and eggs to save money per se. It was just kind of one of those weeks.
Yeah.
But I just noticed that one must balance saving money and eating in a healthy manner. Yeah, I think it's just really important to balance those sort of things. My other cons were not that huge. There was a few times where I just didn't pack a lunch. I haven't been able to pack a lunch yet, and that's just my problem. And then the other thing I had here is paying online for Amazon or whatever, even subscriptions like to Spotify and Amazon Prime. You can't necessarily see that money go away rather than just numbers in your bank account.
It just kind of floats by.
Right, exactly. And so I didn't even realize I had Amazon Prime. And I was paying for it every single month until I looked at my banking, information. I was like, what?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, every month, $6 out. And I was like, oh, Thank you. Thanks for not giving me a text or something. That's my fault. But still, I was like, yeah. So just those little things. But I would say, my recommendation, it's, of course, you need to save money. And the tools that we gave you last podcast to save money are effective. We've shown it here. It saved us a little money here and there. What do you think, Sam? What's your recommendation for this?
I definitely recommend it. I mean, as long as you actually keep on track and pack yourself a lunch, you're going to be able to eat a normal amount without having to spend a lot of money on snacks and eating out and stuff like that.
Yep.
And even though some of the food that's healthy might be more expensive, you just have to have a balance, you know?
Yep, exactly. So we both said yes to saving money. Who would think that saving money would be a good habit? But we're going to jump right into the main focus of this episode, which is avoiding sickness, like we said at the start of the show. But we're going to start that off by playing Sam's favorite game, Quote, Who Said That? Unquote. The game where I tell Sam a quote and she has to guess what famous person said that. So if Sam wins this game, she will receive a song I will create on my guitar just for Sam. Sam, are you ready?
I think I am.
Okay. First quote here. Quote, I've had this terrible stomach problem for years, and that has made touring difficult. People would see me sitting in the corner by myself looking sick and gloomy. The reason is that I was trying to fight against the stomach pain, trying to hold my food down. People looked at me and assumed I was some kind of addict.
I feel like
Unquote.
I know. Oh.
No, you're good.
I feel like I know who this is. I remember hearing about an artist who had chronic stomach problems.
It is an artist.
Yeah, a musical artist, I assume.
He played guitar.
I think I'm torn between two. I'm pretty sure it's Kurt Cobain.
It is Kurt Cobain. Yeah.
Okay.
What was your other?
My other guess
there?
was Michael Jackson. I don't know. Because I know he didn't like touring, and that was the first
guy.
thing.
Yeah. But yep, Sam, so you got 1 out of 3. Let's see how good you can go. Second quote. Hot shite. I am far sicker than I've ever been in years. The last few days have been a pile of hot garbage.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know we were allowing the word shite onto the Healthier Habits podcast.
Well, shite refers to the vegetable found in Ireland, Northern Ireland, called the shite fruit. Yes, it's a vegetable.
Good to know.
Vegetable.
Vegetable. I don't even know what accent
it was on
that would be.
Twitter.
Huh.
That's one of your hints.
Okay.
Do you have any thoughts?
Well, it's obviously somebody who's probably not from the United States.
From the United States.
Oh, and they're using shite.
Yep, he
Okay.
is from the United States.
He. Okay. Celebrity? Obviously, it's a celebrity.
No, not huge. He's huge to me.
Huge to you. Is he like a YouTuber? What YouTuber would say shite?
Shite. Hot shite. I am far sicker than I have been in years. The last few days have been a hot pile of hot garbage.
Is it JonTron?
No. Okay. I'm gonna give you a quote from one of his most recent videos.
Okay.
And it's, "You're such a good boy. I love you."
I love you. Yeah, it's Gus Johnson.
It's Gus Johnson. Sam, you got 2 out of 3 so far. Gus Johnson
I didn't
said.
really get it. I already guessed one.
Gus Johnson was recently sick, and maybe one day he can see this podcast and see how big of a fan I am of him. But while he was sick, he tweeted out, "Hot shite. I am far sicker than I've been in years. The last few days have been a pile of hot garbage." Gus Johnson. Third quote. Quote, "Do your business, zip up, and then dispense this. A little bit of paper towel, but wait. Turn on the tap, apply some soap, lather up, rinse, don't stop the flow. First grab that paper towel you saved, use it as a barrier when touching the faucet area, then get more paper towels for your hands. Dry with it, then retain it, for the doorknob may be tainted. As you exit, bank it off the wall into the trash can. It's a perfect bathroom trip. It's a perfect bathroom plan."
Well, this is definitely some sort of song.
How did you guess? That's actually
Either that or a
pre-Revolutionary
poem.
War poem, actually. Pre-Revolutionary War.
Pre-Revolutionary War? For real?
No. Yep. What do you think, Sam? Who do you think sang this song? I'll give you a hint immediately. Also, YouTubers.
Okay. Is it possibly the same people we talked about in the last episode of the podcast?
What YouTubers did we mention in the last podcast?
Not really a YouTuber, but like a rapper.
Oh, no. Not
No.
Lil Dicky.
Okay.
Not Lil Dicky.
Okay. Also YouTubers, maybe Rhett and Link.
Yep, exactly. Rhett and Link.
Okay,
Rhett
sweet.
and Link. Yep. So they have an entire song about how it's a perfect bathroom plan, or I think it's called the perfect bathroom trip. I think it's what it's called on
Okay.
YouTube. Super funny. Yeah, and it actually like all those lyrics I just brought up there were all legitimate ways you can wash your hands in the bathroom,
Yeah.
and then you don't, get contacted with any nasty stuff that will make you sick. So, with that being said, that's a perfect transition to the point of the show: avoiding sickness.
All right, so I'm going to take over here for a bit. So on the Alameda County Public Health Department website, we found a list of 8 ways to keep yourself from falling into the evil clutches of sickness.
Mm-hmm.
And so number 1, handle and prepare food safely. So obviously food can carry bad things for you.
Yep.
You got to wash your hands, utensils, and surfaces when you're preparing any food, especially raw meat.
Got ya.
Raw
And then,
meat is the devil.
can I do number 2?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So number 2 being wash hands often, as we just said before. And if you want to listen to that YouTube video by Rhett and Link called The Perfect Bathroom Trip and understand how you can wash your hands correctly in the 21st century. So wash your hands often, number 2.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. All right, and number 3, clean and disinfect commonly used surfaces.
Okay.
Obviously, this was mentioned in the first one for preparing food, but basically for anything you're doing, anything you're touching, always just make sure it's clean.
Yeah.
You don't have to clean it all the time, but if you really want to bring out your inner germaphobe this winter, just like disinfect, yo.
Yeah, I mean, I really think it's that hard. I mean, it would just be kind of hard habit to get into, but yeah, that's definitely a way you can do that. Number 4, after number 3, is cough and sneeze into your sleeve. That rhymed. Wow, I'm impressed
Did you
with
say
myself.
sneeze?
I said sneeze, maybe. I probably said sneeze. I'm not getting sick, by the way, for you guys who are listening. I just had something in my throat, a frog in my throat. But yeah, just cough or sneeze into your sleeve. I mean, if you have like a napkin, you could probably do that too. Or not a napkin. Yeah, napkin.
Tissue?
Tissue, something like that. Actually, there's like a Mythbusters episode that was talking about the best way to cover your cough or sneeze. Sneezing is kind of gross. Like for like putting into your sleeve, but like coughing, I think is what they really went into. Mm-hmm. So the other, like there was like 3 ways I think they demonstrated in the episode to see which one was best. One was in your hand, like I don't even know who would do that, but I've seen it before. People just sneezing or coughing into their hand. The other way is like having like a handkerchief, like, an old person in like the 1840s, and they're like, they pull out, a little handkerchief and then they go for it. And then the other way, which is the best way they found out in Mythbusters, is to do the Dracula. You put it into your, what do you call it?
Your elbow pit.
Your elbow pit, yeah. I was demonstrating for you visual learners out there for this audio podcast. But yeah, just make sure you cough and sneeze. Cough or sneeze into your sleeves.
Okay, so number 5, do not share personal items. So another thing we've been told our whole lives, besides sneezing into your elbow, is that sharing is caring, but in flu season, it's better to be greedy with your personal items.
Okay.
So avoid sharing items that can't be disinfected, like toothbrushes and razors, or sharing towels. I don't know why you would share a toothbrush. This is what it says. Okay, also, side note, needles should never be shared, should only be used once and then thrown away properly.
Good to know.
So this rule includes significant others. Don't share with them and don't share them either. Well, unless you're both okay with it.
Number 6, get vaccinated. Just get vaccinated. Honestly, if you're wary about it and, you're not 100% sure, do your own research. Search it up by yourself. I could include some websites to talk about why being vaccinated is a good thing, and all these sort of things. Right here, too, and number 6, we have something that says, speaking of certain parts of the world, students living in the dorms need at least to get a flu shot. I know from experience that if you don't, you will get the flu and you'll miss classes for a while. So make sure you get a flu shot. Make sure you just get vaccinated in general.
Totally. All right, so number 7, avoid touching wild animals. So obviously be cautious around these animals as they can spread infectious diseases to you and your pets. Raccoons are not your friends. And sadly, all the crows and ravens here are also potential disease carriers. So if you happen to make friends with one, make sure the little guy or gal doesn't touch you.
Good idea. And then the number 8, which actually has no description because you don't need one, is stay home when sick.
Yep, it's pretty simple.
Yep, exactly. And then I found this little tiny acronym sort of thing called I whack germs. Letter I is for immunizations are important to protect you from diseases. W is for wash your hands often with soap and water. H is for home is where you stay when you are sick. A is for avoid touching your eyes, nose, mouth, especially when you are sick. And C, cover your coughs and sneezes so you do not spread germs to others. And K, keep your distance from sick people so you don't get sick too.
Those are all very valuable pieces of advice.
And if you want to find our source exactly with that, you can go to the description down below and you will find the article that we got that all from. I'm going to move on to number 2 here. It's a quick little thing. It's a little article that was saying that the best way to prevent the common cold is gargling, apparently.
Gargling? Like
never
gargling
heard this.
Plain water? Gargling salt?
I think it's salt water.
All right.
Let me read this a little bit. So gargling is one of the best things to do to treat a sore throat. As one of my medical and this is obviously from the article, as one of my medical mentors, Dr. Clapper, instructs, take a glass of warm water and a pinch of salt. Hold the glass of salt water in your hand.
Wow. Where else would you
Open your mouth and take a deep breath. Tilt your head back. Slide a generous mouthful to the back. What? It's very instructive.
Generous mouthful.
Slide a generous mouthful to the back of your throat, and with your mouth still open, gently breathe out through the water. Continue until the end of the breath, and then spit out into the sink. Repeat until the full glass of salt water is used. Sorry. I just imagine that in my head like this like ritual, like really slowly, just like...
Oh, God. You know, I hope it doesn't sound like that.
Just really slow, like not like the... Like it's just like... Just a ritual you do at night. But yeah, if you want to prevent the common cold, apparently that's a way. If you want to know why or more about that in general, you can go to the source we found in the description. So to wrap up exactly how not to be sick or avoiding sickness in general is keep away from people.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the tenets for sure, and some people might like that. Some people might not, but another one is always wash your hands, of course, wash your surfaces, stay away from those animals.
Don't share.
Nope.
Yep, get vaccinated.
Don't share your needles, kids.
Exactly. Yeah, just, make sure you get all those things. And if you want to know more about all the things we talked about today, you can, of course, go into our description where we found all of our information. You can fact check us and see if, we're really bad people.
Bad people.
But we're going to move on to the last and third segment of this podcast. It's called Things I Found on the Internet.
This has been my favorite segment for the past, 2 or 3 episodes we've done this?
I'm really liking it, too. I think it's very, very playful. But I have kind of a twofer here for the first one. It's from an article from bustle.com. Again, you can find this in the description. And the first article here from Bustle is 9 old-fashioned ways to prevent the flu that don't work.
Oh, lovely.
So here's some things you should not do. So, number 1, avoiding nervous exhaustion.
Nervous exhaustion?
Yep, don't do that.
Is that like an old sexist thing?
I have no idea.
All right.
I could read into the description here. I think it's during the 1918 spread of Spanish flu throughout the world, which killed an estimated 50 million people.
Wow.
Measures were desperately sought to prevent its movement across America. To that end, the American Public Health Association gave out some advisories, and in particular warned the population against nervous and physical exhaustion. So, yeah. So, Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. The warning was possibly particularly intended for women who were supposed to be more susceptible to nerves and hysteria.
Yep,
You were right.
that was my guess.
You sought out the sexist crap. Deep hidden in that crap.
Hidden. Not exactly.
I didn't
but-
see it as a straight white male, you know.
I guess so.
Number 2, amber amulets. I'm not even sure what that is. I'm going to skip that. Number 3, the best one. Do not have raw onions on plates.
Raw onions on plates? Does that mean putting raw onions on plates around your house?
Well, let's see here. So this one has been around for an incredibly long time. So the National Onion Association
That's a thing?
Yeah, they trace it back to medieval preventive measures against the plague, but it traveled to the United States and became a firm folk prevention measure against the flu in the 19th century. So onions sliced or peeled were meant to absorb the flu. Before it could get to any member of the household. So keeping one handy on a plate was supposed to be an excellent preventative strategy.
That is interesting.
Yep. I'm going to skip a few of these. So number 5, one thing that doesn't work is burning sulfur and orange peel. So don't do that. Number 6, dirty socks are under the collar. If you want to try that.
I don't know why that would help at all.
Or, in a week, if Sam and I are just really sick, maybe we can try this out for a healthier habit and be like, this is not a healthy habit. If you want to see that, you can comment down below and see if tell us if you want that. One of the other ones here, number 8, is whiskey and bacon grease, apparently.
Together?
A collection of Polish-American folklore includes the disgusting-sounding tidbit, I think is what they mean, tidbit that during the 1918 flu pandemic, children were given whiskey with honey in it and pepper and maybe bacon grease or something.
Children?
Yep.
God, I guess I shouldn't be surprised because you always hear about kids getting treated by alcohol.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
The past.
I mean, they still do a little bit. I don't know what that means.
I was going to say, I'm curious to know where you're getting that information.
Yeah.
Is it from personal experience?
Yeah. I drank a lot of whiskey when I was a kid. And look at me now. But that's the end of that first article. Obviously, we didn't say all 9 because not all 9 were funny or interesting. Mm-hmm. So the second article by Bustle is 9 old-fashioned cold cures from history that we probably shouldn't bring back.
Okay, so along the similar lines.
Yeah, exactly. So the first one is wolf liver in wine and frog legs in their own juices.
Their own juices,
yeah.
Ugh.
Yep, and then that can help you with a cold. It probably doesn't.
No.
It doesn't say specifically in the article header there saying that they don't work. They just say we shouldn't bring them back. So, I mean...
Maybe they did work, but they caused something worse.
Right. Oh, yeah, probably. They're just like, oh, yeah, I got rid of my cold. Now I have cancer. Great. Number 2 is vomiting up excess phlegm.
Just like forcing yourself to vomit?
I think so. I think it's just,
Lord.
Okay, actually, this is interesting. So, from ancient Greece and the late Renaissance From ancient Greece to the late Renaissance of Europe, ideas about cold drew on bigger theories about the body in general. Health, it was believed, depended on the balance of 4 humors of the body. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Yellow bile, black bile, blood, and phlegm. Mm-hmm. You already knew this?
Yeah, I learned about this in my biology class, my gen biology last year.
That's just so weird. Yeah, so it's saying it's getting your body back to balance by throwing up all the phlegm. Gosh, that sounds bad. I'm going to skip that one. Number 4, eating fried food. Well, actually, it just says fried food. Is it eating fried food? Yeah, I think it is. I think it says eating fried food. Number 5, huge quantities of mustard and horseradish.
Good Lord.
Yeah, I
guess I wouldn't mind the horseradish, but mustard is nasty.
What? Usually it's the opposite for people.
I like spicy things, and mustard just tastes wrong.
Yeah. I think maybe that mixture there too would clear up your sinuses. Especially the horseradish.
I could see that.
So I could see that kind of working there a little bit. Number 6, roasted mouse. Like a roasted marshmallow, except a mouse.
Did they actually roast it over the fire on spits?
Oh, let me read into here real quick. Yeah, probably. I mean, what else would they roast something? Well, what else would they roast a mouse over? Snow? Yep. Number 7, milk with onions on it.
On it.
In it.
That I don't even want to think about that.
Yeah, that just sounds disgusting. Number 8, goose grease and molasses.
Goose grease.
That sounds like a really good band name.
Goose
honestly.
grease?
Goose grease and molasses.
Oh, the whole thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
And then you can have
GGM.
GGM, like good githcal morning.
Cool. Wait. What does it say goose grease is?
You're going to make me read.
I'm sorry. I'm curious.
The grease or fat of a cooked goose was ideally meant to be fresh and warm. And it was commonly used as like a rubbed thing you put on your chest, kind of like with Vicks Vapor
so you
Rub.
don't eat it. Okay.
Yeah. Number 9, unwashed lamb's hair in brandy.
Consuming hair? Isn't that like a really bad thing?
Probably. A little bit. Probably. Actually, again, not sick. This article says that, however, the book also records one cure from Utah. What?
Utah
in 1932 that raises a lot of questions. Wearing unwashed lamb's hair that's been dunked in brandy around the neck to help a sore throat.
Oh,
that's what
wearing it.
Yeah,
okay.
you wear it.
Good.
I mean,
not good.
It.
Not good, but...
But I think that does it for this episode of the Pod Sam. It's that time.
Okay.
And if you want more information on how to avoid being sick, look in those descriptions. In the descriptions, you can find our sources, read them. You can even go on Google and Google what you want. But I mean, we already have the sources right there for you. Just click down below and you'll find it.
Also, comment on this upload and tell us what healthier habits you want to hear about and or want to see Brian and I suffer through.
And remember, we have social media on Insta, Twitter, and Facebook. Yes, Facebook. The website that your profile that you made in 2008 when you were just a youngin', still there, waiting for you.
Check back next week when Brian and I tell you about our experience with trying to avoid being sick the best we can and introduce our next healthier habit.
And as always, be safe and be healthier. Bye.
Bye.
The grease or fat of a cooked chicken.